So if that's what we're bringing to market jointly, how do we think about the joint value proposition and how we think about how this joint value is unique? And simply put, the third reason to work with Qlik is that it's more than just sending SQL statements to the back end and hoping for the best. The work that we've done jointly, the work that our teams have done jointly, is to really think through a full end-to-end integration between Qlik and Cloudera. So rather than just thinking about this as a lightweight SQL-based integration, we're thinking about the full range of Cloudera solutions and where they tie in and add value in the context of Qlik. So that can be, for example, on-demand self-service use cases with Impala, or integrations with Solar from a search perspective. Thinking about how we tie together integration with single sign-on support, using REST APIs to get real-time access to data in Cloudera. Integration from Kafka around IoT, right? And even direct access to data through and with Impala. So these are a whole range of different use cases, solutions jointly built between Qlik and Cloudera. But talk is cheap, and PowerPoint is cheap. So let's take a look at how this operates in reality through a series of different demonstrations. And let me just pause here and say, I think it's incredibly valuable that as we go to market, we actually showed the reality of what we're doing together to our joint customers. So rather than come up here and show you a bunch of PowerPoints, which we're doing a little bit of, we thought it would be valuable to actually show you Cloudera and Qlik working live together. So to do that, I'm going to jump over to my laptop right here, and let's start looking at some demo stuff. So the first demonstration that we're going to show is an on-demand application generation use case. And the idea here is to enable a self-service use case in the context of Cloudera. And the way we do that is we start with a master application which gives an overview of a massive data store that may be available in Cloudera. And then we enable the end user to find a specific slice of that data which is relevant for their analytic use case, and then launch into that. So I'll start by looking at an overview of that data. And this is banking data. So I'm looking at over 30 million banking transactions right here inside Cloudera. Maybe I'll start by maybe looking at a specific banking branch. This is one that's a little bit outside of our core territory. And you can see that there are quite a variation in the transaction distribution for this bank. We'll look at where the peaks were, where we had some particularly large transaction volume. And maybe I'll look at my core banking assets. So now what we've done is in this overview application, we found a unique slice of that data that we want to do more work on. When I click the Generate button, what I'm doing here is I'm taking that specific slice of data that's relevant for me in the moment, and I'm going back into Cloudera, pulling that data, and making it available for detailed analysis. And what's important about this is that I didn't know ahead of time what particular slice I was interested in analyzing. This is the self-service nature of this on-demand capability. So now, having found that slice, I can go ahead and open it right within Qlik, and I can start doing detailed analytics behind that slice of data, enabling this self-service capability. And this application might last for a day, it might last for a week, I might put it into production and use it for a couple of years. The next use case we wanted to show was a market basket analysis. And the idea here is to think about the unique integration between data stored in HDFS, the machine learning capabilities in Apache Spark, and then how we can make that business value really shine by putting that right into Qlik. So in this case, we're going to take a set of point-of-sale data. So this is point-of-sale information, quite a lot of detailed point-of-sale data that we have available in HDFS. Run it through Spark with machine learning, and then bring the data back into Qlik. So here you can see an overview of all of the data, and you can get a great sort of dashboard view where you can understand how your business is doing, maybe look at a particular region, a couple of stores within that region. And you can see, of course, as every demo should, that the stores are doing really well. But of course, what the user wants is they want to know why. They want the why behind that. So we can go ahead and look, for example, at the products that are driving that great performance. And now we're seeing, again, an overview of 30 million records right within Cloudera, being able to understand the details behind what's going on in that data set. And now here's where it gets really interesting. That data was all processed through Apache Spark's machine learning algorithms, and here you can see all of the market baskets associated with that performance. So, and you can look at, in this case, a chord diagram, and look at a particular product. In this case, I used the pet foods, and see what pet foods are associated with high-performance baskets in that retail example. This is incredibly valuable from a retailer's perspective, to get this incredibly important information. And you can look at it even over time, so we can see how we're doing over time. And with Click, we translate that graphical representation into a textual representation on the right. And of course, this responds from an associative perspective as well. So as I make a query here, we're looking for carrots, and I'll go ahead and look at the data for just for carrots, and you can see that we've actually updated that textual description in the context of that selection. So for a retailer, that's game-changing. Last but not least, this is a fun one, and this may be a little bit unexpected. Here we're using the value of Click's engine and the value of our APIs to build an analytical application on top of Cloudera Search with Solr around the Enron database of emails. So the corpus of emails that came from the Enron disaster. And what's interesting about this is the end user experience is not Click. It's actually built on our APIs. It's a search-based interface. It's exactly what you would expect. So I can come in here. I can look at the previous searches. I could search for a particular Enron employee, Valerie Peterson, is who I'll search for here. And when I do that, I actually kick a query back to Solr, bring the resulting emails that were Valerie Peterson emails into Click, but I don't bring it into Click's user interface. I bring it into an analytical application built on our APIs. So this is a rich web-based application, exactly what you would expect. But the power of Click is that it's on the same engine. So now I can look at, say, Todd Peterson right here, and I can look at emails about from Todd. I can look at a word cloud. I can go and understand the details of the emails having to do with Todd Peterson and Valerie Peterson. Or if I'm interested in Ken Lay, I could go ahead and search right here for emails having to do with Ken Lay. And when I do that, again, right down to the details of all of those emails that were from Ken to Valerie. So again, this isn't just showing the power of Cloudera, Solr, and Search, but the unification of Cloudera Search with business value from a front-end perspective. So 3 demonstrations that show you the unique integration value between Click and Cloudera and how we can change the market by bringing this business value in front of end users. Now, these are not just demonstrations that we can do on stage like this. This is something that everybody in this room is enabled and empowered with as you leave this room and for a successful year. The demos that we just showed are available on cloudera.click.com. We've published data sheets jointly with these solutions and others. There's a set of PowerPoint presentations that are available and a set of webinars that are available through the Cloudera marketing team.